Max Wardell here, overheadathletics.com, joined by Jackson today. Jackson, believe it or not, look at the kid's arms. The kid's a freshman in high school. He's one of our young studs here, pitchers, position player, does it all. What we're thinking about when we're thinking about deadlift for our pitchers is making sure we have adequate technique and adequate grip on the bar so that we don't expose our shoulder to unnecessary risk during the exercise, because we know that the deadlift places the most distractive load on the shoulder of any of the exercises that we're doing. Distractive load being a pulling force where you're almost pulling the ball out of the socket a little bit. In the case of the deadlift, you're pulling it down and out. And so what we want to do is we want to make sure our shoulders are set in a good position and that we're using a proper bar path to make sure that we're executing the exercise properly. So Jackson is going to show us that hand grip, and if you want to come in here and video that hand grip. One of the things that we like to do is make sure our feet are nice and narrow on this traditional deadlift, something that we use a lot. So get those feet in just a tad bit closer. Reach down and grab that bar. The taller athletes with wider arms can sometimes get away with a little bit wider grip. For Jackson, I like him to be just a little narrower based on his body style. And you can see he's doing the double overhand grip. That's what we're going to use in our baseball players because that's going to make the shoulder a little more stable. When we do this underhand grip here, that makes some athletes want to curl the bar and bend their elbow, which loads this bicep and pulls on the top of that labrum. So I don't like this when athletes try to pull the bar and it leads to the bar twisting and the shoulder being loaded too much. So for safety purposes in my baseball players and other athletes, I have them do an overhand grip just to protect the shoulder from that curling, from that excessive biceps activity, from that pulling down in the socket. Now, if you're somebody that has an existing labral tear or rotator cuff tear, you may need to alter your shoulder position and your grip as a result, and that may mean that you do a hex bar deadlift. It may mean that you do have to do an underhand grip because that's the only place you can find stability. So once we get that grip, we like to push our arms or our legs out just a little bit so that we're pushing out and our toes are forward. So go ahead and get into that setup one more time for me. One of the errors we see athletes make is they try to drag the bar up their shins and then let it fall down their thighs. So I'm going to have Jackson show that, pull that up. Now let it come down your thighs on the way down. That is an incorrect deadlift. What we want to see is a straight bar path up and down. So now that he's got his feet pointing forward, he's going to get a nice grip. He's actually in a perfect position here, nice flat back position, his head's up, and he's going to try to pull that bar straight up. Go. Good, push the hips through and straight down. In this way, what he doesn't have to do is go around his knees by dragging the bar down his thighs this way. It's a hinge motion, and so the motion should be very smooth, and it is a hinge, and the bottom part is a knee bend. So one more time, Jackson, give me a couple in a row. Feet a little closer for me. Good. If there's any discomfort in the shoulder, what he needs to do is set his shoulders a little bit more prior to the exercise. So come on down. One way we set the shoulders is try to shrug down with the shoulders and then come. We can also do some techniques for our athletes who are first learning the deadlift. Come on down. So what we do here for athletes who are having a little bit of shoulder pain is we give them a band pulling here. Now I can have this set with a dumbbell holding this band. Go ahead. And this, same good deadlift, yep. This band pulling forward actually forces him to activate his lats a little bit. It's a technique I first saw on Squat University a while back. Drive those knees out just a tad. Now up. So I want to make sure he doesn't collapse in. And I'll give him a little pull forward, which can help to activate these big lat muscles to set the shoulders and stabilize that shoulder joint in the presence of a labral tear or something like that. So can you give me 3 in a row? And what I like to see from Jackson is no bouncing of the bar. So he's up, up. It's a dead lift. You lift it from a dead stop. Perfect. Then we're going to show you an exercise and how we may program this with some other core rotational work right now. So something we like to superset that deadlift with is a chop and lift, either in a half kneeling position or a lunge position, where we have complete control of where the pelvis is, and he's controlling that, and he's going to rotate as far as he possibly can into the rotation with his chest reaching out here a little bit, out here, pointing those bands. This is something we'll superset with that deadlift, or we'll follow up to the deadlift to try to continue that core activation all around, because that deadlift really trains that core circumferentially. And we want to continue to train that core circumferentially, but now with a little rotation, which is a little bit more specific to pitching or to throwing. The deadlift's a phenomenal exercise if you do it properly, but you want to make sure that you're also including exercises that are going to allow you to transfer that strength and power benefit or gain onto the field. Keep those hands apart. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. So we can add it into something like this. Switch legs. So do we a chop, which is what happens in the follow through of the throw, and then we do a lift, which is what happens in the loading phase of the throw. So now switch your hands for me. So that hand on the top, this is a new exercise for him. You're going to keep those hips facing forward, and you're going to lift. Shrug your shoulder down. Good. So good posture, similar posture to the deadlift. Keep your hips facing forward. Look at your hands. Hold right there. Come on, hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we try to increase the ability to contract the core all the way around, and then we give them access to rotation with that contraction in exercises like this. So that's how we deadlift with baseball players, and this is how we program it into a comprehensive strength and conditioning program. If you guys like this video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys in the next one.